Drum roll, please, for episode 1 of FatBitz. I'm doing it. Thank you for joining me on the first episode of FatBitz. Just a reminder to those of you that don't know, FatBitz, I've got to take these off. It hurt my eyes after a while. I refuse to have contact lenses, and I ain't doing no laser. Nothing's going in my eye. Nothing. Especially a laser. Yeah, welcome to my first episode of FatBitz. For those of you that don't know, FatBitz is a podcast for women over 40, and it's about women who belly laugh in the face of adversity. It's how we as women bore through regardless of what's happening, and you're juggling so many things and in service to so many people, and then those big life events happen and you're like whacked in the face and thrown on the floor and, you know, tossed around in the waves of life. It's just, you know, how we use resilience, but mainly how we use humor to get through and around those big life events. Because if you can't laugh, right, you're done for. If I don't laugh, then I am done for, and they got carted off. Can't say men in white coats anymore, can you? There's a lot of stuff you can't say. Carted off by men in white coats. Oh, that's what used to happen. Today's episode is called Let's Talk About Fat. For as long as I can remember, women's relationship with fat has been a real conflict. And I chose fat because I didn't really want to do a deep dive on the menopause on the first episode. I'll lead into that one in this series. There'll be some pretty deep subjects, but the whole point of it is to find the humor in this stuff that happens to us. Things like perimenopause, menopause, miscarriage, infertility, all that good stuff. I found amongst my friends that these things were happening in unison, and we're all getting battered by life at the same time. And going, "You're right. Is everything all right with you?" Yeah, and you're like, "Yeah, I'm fine." How are you? I wanted to talk about women's relationships with fat, because it's been a constant in my entire life. For as long as I can remember, diets, weight management, the eradication of fat was always in play, whether that be women in my immediate circles, like my mum, family, friends, their mums, the community, and on TV, in film, in an advert. There was always some poor woman in real life or fictional who was on a weight loss journey, you know, and it is part of our narrative as women. I think, especially as you get into your 40s, you would have, all of us have experienced, you know, going through the fatty diets and crazy gym phases. Well, I've done that, like training for the Olympics to get into a bikini. Oh, I'm so glad it's all behind me. We've all experienced, I know, I don't even need to say, has that affected you? What? You didn't like your body and you wanted to change it several million times in your life? Does that happen when you're a kid? This idea of, you know, pursuing the body beautiful is instilled in you, or being a certain weight and a certain physique, you know, it's all put in you from a very young age. I remember as a kid being gifted a Bonnie Langford workout set tape with glossy picture book, and in said picture book was an array of pictures of Bonnie Langford striking various aerobic poses that you would follow as you listen to the tape. Does anyone remember Bonnie Langford? I mean, am I that old? Am I the oldest here? Oh, I'm 49. There's no shame in my age game. If you remember Bonnie Langford, shout out Bonnie in the comments, just so I get an idea of, you know, if you're with me. But anyway, so I had this book and she was there with a big red curly hair, smiling with every pose. Do you know what I mean? She'd have a head for her legs and she'd be smiling upside down. Do you know what I mean? It was like, she'd smile through anything, Bonnie Langford. body length. No, but she was very nice, wasn't she? She was lovely. She always beamed with light, from what I can remember. So yeah, shout out to Bonnie. Anyway, as a kid, I'll be looking through the book, thinking to myself, that don't look like fun. I got my first idea about how women felt about their bodies through my mum, right? Because I remember when she was in diet mode, like, because I'd open the fridge, looking for my petit filou, and I'd be faced with several grapefruits and big tubs of cottage cheese. Not really what you want as an 8 or 9-year-old, really. I'm just like, where's the good stuff at? I don't know what this is. This ain't for me. And I don't really think it was for Mum. Knew it was really serious. She'd take it up a notch when she would, she'd don the, and then I'm showing me age here. Again, showing me age, and why not? That's what I'm here to do. Show my age. Anyway, I knew it was serious when she would don the grey plastic tracksuit, which she would wear under like a regular tracksuit. And the idea, and it was a big fad back then in the 80s, and I think people still use them, I think. But yeah, back in the day, she would wear this tracksuit, but she wouldn't like wear it, like she wouldn't jog, she wouldn't go out running or go for a speedy walk. She'd just do like regular things. Do you know what I mean? Like regular stuff. I'm talking about, doing the washing or taking the dog out for a walk or reading the paper. The thing is, you'd see it under the tracksuit and you'd be sort of cutting into the neck because it had this elasticated bit at the top. It was designed to sort of trap and seal all the heat from all that activity of reading the paper. And you'd seal it here. And so the idea is that, you'd be losing weight as you wear this thing. So, you put it on a size 16, you take it off, you're a size 12. Hey presto, the magic plastic tracksuit worked. But it didn't, did it really? Anyway, there was a lot of these things that were going on. Women everywhere, always pursuing body beautiful. It's easy to conclude that me and girls from my generation grew up thinking one thing was for sure. Women are dissatisfied with their bodies. Lucky for me, that view was challenged because I was of and around certain cultures, right? So my dad is Grenadian, and little shout out to Grenada. There's the flag if you don't know it. My dad's Grenadian, and so I grew up around Grenadian culture. I also grew up in West London, so I grew up around every culture on the planet, which was a real blessing. Grenadian culture and other Black cultures really valued bigger women. Body fat was a very, very sexy asset. It really was. And it still is in many of those cultures. Grenadian culture and wider Caribbean culture and West African culture has instilled in me an appreciation of my body and an appreciation of my body fat. That's for sure. Because women within those cultures and bigger women, fat women, dare I say it, and fat is not a bad word, have this undeniable sass and a silent kind of confidence, which is so inspiring. That's why a lot of big European ladies travel to the Caribbean in order to feel a little bit more appreciated than what they feel when they're back home. And that positive body image that was perpetuated through like Caribbean culture is something that definitely influenced me to embrace my FatBitz. So it counteracted the projection of Western culture that I, as a woman, should not be happy when fat. My personal history with fat has always been conflicted in some way. Do I embrace my FatBitz and be happy at a size 16? Because that's my size, 5'3" and a size 16. All right, let's be having ya. Or do I shave off a few stones? Shave off. Do I shave off a few stones and like bask in the tsunami of external validation that comes with that? It's always been a conflict my entire life. And I'm sure I'm not alone, right? If I'm not alone, say something in the comments, please. Go on. Proof of my own conflict with fat and body shape and body size can be found in my wardrobe, because my wardrobe spans from a size 10 to a size 18. Obviously, the 10s and the 12s are now purely ornamental. I look at those and I go, did I wear that at some point in my life? I could put my thigh in that trouser leg. Wow. If you have a wardrobe size range as varied as mine, then please feel free to shout out in the comment. Anyway, I think it's time for a tea break. Now, you'll get to know me. I do love a cuppa. In fact, that's all I like doing nowadays, is drinking tea. Tea break. And tea break would be nothing without a light snack. Oh, hello, Tommy. Say hi to the FatBitz ladies. This is Tommy. He had a fight the other day. He's got a scratch on his nose. Now he's looking at the biscuits. You, Tommy. Anyway, no, you can't have a biscuit, Tommy, because they're mine. They're my biscuits. One of the things that I must ask of you, ladies, is if you're going to watch and listen to this podcast, come armed with a drink of some kind. It doesn't have to be a hot beverage, but massive tea lover. So good, right? It's important to have a little time out. And this bad boy is going into this bad boy right here. I'm a dunker. Anyway. Oh, it's a good biscuit. My God. Oh, it's so good. Anyway, where was I? I've covered off like my experiences as a child and as a young woman at conflict with her own body, as I think many women are throughout their lives. But what happens when you get to your 40s? Because there are just so many things happening at the same time. I talk about my own story. So coming into my 40s, I had a miscarriage. I left my job. I moved abroad. My mum passed away. That was a fat bit. So all these fat bits were happening to me through my 40s, and I'm dealing with all of this stuff. And then I'm really not thinking about my own body. Right. She says as she eats a biscuit. I wasn't mindful and conscious of my body. And then one day it felt like I woke up and I went, oh, where did all these new fat bits come from? Pray tell. Fat becomes this unwanted friend who wants to hang with us way more than we do. So what do? Do we eject our new fat friend? Do we kill it with cardio? Do you fry it with a laser? Or do you blast it with Ozem? Or do we not worry and just choose to be happy with our new fat bits? Because life starts to really life in your 40s, and should we really care about a few extra fat bits? For me, should I continue this conflict, go crazy in the gym, or resort to something like Ozempic? Some of those fat bits that appear, they're the aging fat bits. They're the fat bits that probably will stay for the rest of your life. Like, I don't have armpits anymore. I'm just saying it out loud. I don't have armpits. I just have a wall of fat as an armpit. When I apply roll-on, it's like paint to a wall. You know, I don't have the curve anymore. I'm okay with that. You know, when I was putting on earrings the other day, I was like, oh my God, my earlobes are fat. They're fatter than they've ever been. What am I going to do? Tie a dumbbell to my ear? This is what happens as you get into your 40s, a natural occurrence to have a bit bit more body fat than you normally would. It's just what happens to women, right? But the sort of connotations around fat are always so damn negative. Fat isn't a bad thing. We need fat, especially as we go into perimenopause and menopause. Yeah, obviously I'm talking about healthy fats. Shouldn't take that attitude with healthy fats. But, you know, your avocados, your chia seeds and the rest, not these types of fat, not your Mackie D's apple pie type of fat. Do you know what I mean? As we get into our 40s and our bodies are changing and we do birth new fat bits that maybe the old conflicts that happened in our lives as younger women should cease. I'm calling a truce on my fat conflict, and I'm embracing looking after my body, but I'm also embracing me fat bits. Oh, not saying I'm embracing them, but inside I'm like, oh, if only I could have surgery. Is there an armpit surgeon? What's Kim Kardashian doing with her armpits lately? It's all about embracing change in your 40s. That's what I realised. You've got to embrace everything that happens, all of the fat bits in life. You've got to embrace it, but especially with your own body. And if you do accumulate a fat bit here and there, just blow it a kiss. And the truth is, if you embrace your fat bit, you are just loving yourself a tad more. Cheers.